What is going on, yo? Welcome back to yet another video. It is your boy RickyMoto, and today we have yet another car review type video for the channel. So if you've been following me for a while, you would know that this is my car. I never really showed on the channel, and I've only really shown it like a couple times, but yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about my E90 328. This is a 2011. I have so many cars that like I feel like y'all are losing track, and in my current rotation I have 3 cars. So I have this E90, I have the pink M4, and then I have a A220 Mercedes. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm actually changing it up again. I'm actually going to be getting rid of this car, but before I get into that, I do want to show a little bit about what this whole car is about. So yeah, this is a 2011 328 xDrive, and it's a SULIV model. So it comes with like the extra warranty stuff for the engine. It's more reliable, etc, etc. I got this in around January earlier this year, so it's been about, I'd say, 10 months or so. And I actually got it as a daily. So at the time, I had my 428 fully clapped out, and I used to use that car as my daily hustle car. So going to work, driving, doing Uber and whatnot, like just putting a whole bunch of miles on that car. And the intention of me picking up this E90 was to use it as a daily. And because my credit and everything was so bad at the time, I ended up overpaying for this car a whole lot due to interest and whatnot. It is fully paid off now, but I did get it with about 5K down, and then the overall cost, I calculated it after all the interest and everything that I paid on this thing. I ended up spending about 15K out the door for this car, including the down payment and everything. So it's a little bit more than I was hoping to for this type of car, for the mileage, for the year and whatnot, but honestly it wasn't too bad. But yeah, out the door, after all the extra whatever interest and whatnot, I ended up spending 15K on this car. And it has 104,000 miles on it. I got it with 102,000, and it was actually a pretty solid car. I was daily driving this thing. I was doing Uber Eats at the time, and I was using this car pretty much every single day. But shortly after, things started breaking down, and because it started breaking down on me, I didn't want to keep on dumping money into repairing it, so I kind of just let it sit. And that ended up going back to my other car as a daily, and it kind of made this car useless. So, you know, long story short, I sold my 428i. I bought an M4. I daily that for a little bit, then I bought the A220, and now I'm dailying that car. So I have 3 cars, and this car in the lineup just continues to sit. You know, it's been sitting for half a year now. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about some modifications that have been done to this car, because it is not stock anymore. And then I also want to talk about some of the maintenance nightmares that I had with it. But yeah, this is a black on black, you know, the standard OEM paint. It's a xDrive model, so all-wheel drive. This thing has a M3 style front bumper, and it has been paint matched to the car. So it actually looks really clean. It doesn't look like very fake, so to speak. It did have a real carbon fiber lip on here, but it ripped off on the highway, which is unfortunate. Also did the eyelid over here with vinyl. I put some vinyl on here to make that black and yellow. That was kind of the vision for this car. In here in the brakes, I painted the calipers yellow, which looks pretty solid. In this setup right here, we also have aftermarket drilled and slotted rotors in there. The wheels, these are currently the stock wheels that I just painted black. I was running on aftermarket wheels for a little while, but then I ended up taking them off and selling it. This also has the lug nut stud conversion, which makes it so much easier to take the wheels off and on. It also is running on 15mm spacers to kind of push the stock wheels out a little further. And this car is also sitting on BC Racing coilovers all around. Fully adjustable. I actually just raised all 4 sides, so there's a bit of a wheel gap, and the reason why is because I don't want the next owner, you know, having problems with it being so low, because before this fender was like down to here, it was like basically touching the tire. So I raised it about 1.5 inches or so it doesn't really scrape anymore, it doesn't rub. I haven't adjusted the camber yet because I still have it on maxed out camber. It's kind of hard to tell, but I am on like negative 1.5 to 2 degrees camber in the front. Another modification, we have these blacked out LED turn signals over here. Tints, I have I believe this is, I want to say 35% on the back and 50% on the front and the windshield. This is also 35 in the back. This little spoiler piece is a nice addition, kind of gives it a little bit of an edge to the trunk. Exhaust here, I painted the tips black. The tips are actually OEM, but the rest of the exhaust is fully straight piped. It still has the cats on it, and then we have these little spats over here that are just kind of bolted on, and debadged the rest of the trunk, so no other emblems. It's a pretty light sort of OEM plus look. It's not too crazy. I did put new BMW like emblems in the hubcaps over there, but yeah, because the old ones were hella crusty. But other than that, you know, it's a pretty solid and clean build. As you can see, check that out. It's actually pretty nice. I've always been a fan of white or lighter interiors. It's not really a true white, but it's kind of creamish. The seats are also the same color, and then the whole rest of the dash here is black, but this used to be wood, but it's been wrapped in a matte carbon fiber vinyl to kind of give off that stealthy look, and it's overall really clean. Another modification in here is the M Sport steering wheel. So this is not an M Sport car, but has the M Sport steering wheel retrofitted on here. We made a video on this a while ago, but we switched out the start stop button to yellow. Also did the yellow on the steering wheel. And then over here, there's also some things that I've done, which I made a video about. Changed all this out to Alcantara with yellow stitching. Same thing with the shift boot. So this is all aftermarket. So here we have the N51 motor. I just did an oil change, and I just noticed there's some oil pulling up over here. So I probably spilled a little bit, which I got to clean up. I don't know why this is open, but yeah, this is a NA, meaning no turbo, 6-cylinder engine. And it's actually pretty nice. It sounds good with the exhaust setup, and it's pretty quick. We do have a InGen air intake over here. We did have a strut brace over here from Megan Racing, but I parted that out and sold it. Same thing with the roof rack. I used to have like a roof rack and a bicycle thing up top, but sold that as well. It actually looks cleaner without the roof rack, and you know, the strut bar on here honestly didn't make too much of a difference. And I gotta say, a lot of the mods on this car actually came with the car when I got it, because I did buy it pre-owned. That's pretty much the overview of this car and everything that's on here. But I do want to talk a little bit about the story about this car and the nightmares that I had with it in terms of maintenance. So for the most part, this car never had many major mechanical breakdowns. This car mainly suffered from electrical issues. For some reason, this car just kept losing power, and I'm not sure if it's because there's like some sort of like electrical leak because there's been aftermarket bulbs or whatever, because I do have some codes, and I suspect that there's been aftermarket bulbs put into the front headlight and the tail light. I did use Beamer code and like check out all the coding and whatnot, and it has been previous coded before based on my research. And yeah, I feel like something is drawing power more than it should. The alternator is brand new. The valve cover gasket, everything's brand new. Everything on here is like pretty much set because the previous owner did modify this car and they were a car guy. But yeah, electrical problems. So basically this car would just keep losing power and the battery would keep dying. So I actually replaced the battery on here about 4 times, which is pretty wild. The first 2 times, I did not program the car after I put the new battery in, which is kind of dumb. So the alternator would actually overcharge the battery and kill it. So I would just destroy brand new batteries back to back. Then I ended up coating it, and the problem went away. So it would always start, everything was fine. And then shortly after, like the dash and everything started flickering, and I thought the battery was going out again, but apparently the fuse box was going out, or the junction box. I still haven't replaced it because all of a sudden it just fixed itself. But that is still something that I have to watch out for, because at any point I don't want the junction box completely crapping out and then the dash and all the lights stop working. The car will still probably start because the alternator is good. It is programmed now where the alternator is setting correct voltage to the battery. Other than that, there hasn't been any other mechanical issues with this car. I did have a rough idle at first when I got the car because of the Vano solenoid, but that was covered under the Solev warranty, so I got that fixed. Also the PCV valve harness, that was also replaced under warranty. All of it was covered under the Solev warranty, which is nice. So which is why if you are in the market for a BMW, I always suggest, if you're looking for like a base model, to get a Solev model. Any sort of mechanical or drivetrain stuff is covered under that warranty by BMW up to 150,000 miles, which is pretty solid. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of the nightmares I had. It wasn't too crazy. There was a couple of leaks, like, you know, like the washer fluid bottle or something with the pump is leaking. I just ripped off the fender and just sealed it with some JB Weld. I did the oil and filter change myself just recently after only 2,000 miles. I only put 2,000 miles on this car in this whole year. When I got the car, I did the oil change at the dealership, and then I just recently did another oil change anyway. And I also did an engine flush with liquid moly and everything just to really clean everything out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the tour of this E90, and everything right now is working on it. There's really nothing wrong. It's been running fine. Only thing I'm kind of weary about is just that junction box or fuse box that's slightly going out, because it's pretty intermittent. For a while it was kind of bugging out, but then it just stopped bugging out. But you never know if that problem comes back. But if it were to come back, it's just like a $500 part. You just plug and play, maybe program it, and the car is back to normal again. So but yeah, anyways, I want to talk about what is happening with this car and why I'm getting rid of it. I'm actually selling this car, and it's actually already sold. I just have to, unregister it and take the insurance off and then transfer the title over. My cousin actually wants to buy it off me because his car, he recently macked and destroyed. So yeah, he's still in college and he needs a daily car. He didn't want to spend too much. And the used car market right now is pretty crazy. It's hard to find any sort of car for the price that I'm selling this car for. I'm basically giving it to him for quite a steal of a price, significantly less than what I paid for it. So I'm actually taking a major loss with this car. But it's my cousin, it's my it's family members, so that's why I'm gonna hook them up with the pricing. Kind of redundant because I have 3 cars right now. I have an M4, which I use maybe on the weekends if I'm going out. I have the A220, which I daily drive, and it doesn't really make sense to have this car. And it's just been sitting there for a long ass time collecting dust, and I'm paying insurance on it every single month, full coverage for no reason. So yeah, it's kind of been more of a money pit than anything, just having this thing. I could make use of it and drive it more, but it's kind of just like redundant as to why I would drive this car if I already have 2 more cars. With it being sold to my cousin, any sort of maintenance or anything he needs, he'll just bring it back to me to do instead of going to the shops. Yeah, guys, I just wanted to make this video to update you guys as to what happened to the E90. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram at @RickyMoto, as well as the car page at m4.rose, where I show all my car stuff. But yeah, guys, this is the end of the E90. So sad, but moving on to a new owner, a new home, and bringing life back into it. So make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in our next one. Peace.